in a small southern town.
I can see that.
In the quiet heart of Hatcher County.
It's about this time last year his daddy passed away. He's still real messed up over it.
There are no strangers.
Mrs. Wilson, this is Jessica King, my fiance.
You're not that Wilson is a fortune teller, are you?
I don't call myself that.
You think we'll live happily ever after?
Only secrets.
What's the matter? You see something bad?
And the only thing more unusual than a disappearance.
Ms. Wilson, I don't believe in what you do. I'll just be straight with you. We've got to the end of the road in our investigation.
Is there anything you can tell us?
Is that the only witness wasn't even there.
Speed and camera only, marking.
And action.
Paramount Classics presents a film from director Sam Raimi, starring Academy Award nominee Cate Blanchett, Giovanni Ribisi, Keanu Reeves, Katie Holmes, with Academy Award nominee Greg Kinnear and Academy Award winner Hilary Swank in a supernatural thriller, The Gift. Written by Academy Award winner Billy Bob Thornton and Tom Epperson, the film follows the character of Annie Wilson, a card reader with a special gift.
Annie Wilson is a cross between a social worker and a medium or a psychic. She's a single mother with 3 boys, and all the people who Annie encounters are unsettled or troubled or worried by something.
I really need to talk to you. Maybe you could read for me.
Valerie is a very insecure person who goes to Annie to feel safe, someone to confide in.
Can you see what I'm thinking? Can you see that in the card?
Annie Wilson is a widow. She lost her husband in an accident about a year ago, and the picture finds her as she's trying to recover from that loss. She truly has a gift, and she is capable of a perception of a reality beyond our own.
Your daddy, he took things away from you when you were a little boy. Buddy, who's played by Giovanni Ribisi, describes her as being the soul of the town.
You're the soul of this town, Miss Wilson, and you just need to keep doing what you're doing.
She's bearing an enormous sense of guilt because she feels responsible for the fact that she couldn't stop her husband's death. She's opened herself up to sort of bear everyone else's problems.
There's a relationship with Annie that he has that I think she's one of the few people that really gives him love. I just think the world of you. You're about the only one I call a friend to me.
But it turns out there's a lot of people that distrust her in this town.
Could I help you?
I'm Donnie Barksdale. I'm sorry to bother you so late, but I believe you know my wife, Valerie.
They don't have open minds toward her psychic abilities.
I know she's been coming over to see you. You tell her bad things about me, don't you? Donnie Barksdale's married to Valerie Barksdale. In the film, my wife is going to see Cate Blanchett, who's a card reader, a psychic, and she's telling my wife to leave me.
I can't leave him. Don't you understand?
Hon, he's gonna keep hurting you till he puts you in the hospital.
I would describe it, the town of Brixton, Georgia, as a very small, typical southern town. It's a place where everybody knows everybody's business, and there's a lot of secrets.
Wayne's a simple person with simple needs living in a great little small town. He has managed to land a wonderful fiancée in Jessica King.
You remember Jessica?
Hi, Annie. I know you're a member of the country club.
I'm not. I just kind of tagged along with Linda.
She's a very strong young woman, and she asserts her power with her sexuality. Wayne, I've been looking for you everywhere.
She has a very secret side to her that she doesn't reveal to her lover, Greg Kinnear.
Somebody might come in here.
Jessica King turns up missing and sets a series of events into motion.
Annie finds herself the focal point of a mystery when local resident Jessica King disappears without a clue.
Annie is called in to investigate.
Hello?
This is Kenneth King.
Mr. King.
I imagine you heard about my daughter's disappearance. We'd like you to tell us what you can to help us.
These people in the town are in need of an answer, so she gives herself over to them.
I could read for you.
Wayne solicits Annie's psychic ability to assist him in finding her.
All right. You ready?
She's opened herself up. She sees something.
For director Sam Raimi, shooting on location in Savannah, Georgia, added another layer of realism to the film.
What helps the feel of the town in the picture is these incredible oak trees, these gnarled and twisted things that tell the audience that perhaps another world exists, some supernatural force exists. And what attracted me to Billy Bob Thornton and Tom Epperson's screenplay was the fact that they had created these very real characters and still delved into the world of the supernatural. Billy Bob Thornton really knows the South, and he grew up there, and I think his writing is so effective because he writes what he knows about. So it made it a very believable and frightening experience.
Looks like there's a storm coming.
This movie really deals with psychic phenomenon in an interesting way.
All right, well, I'm picking up. It's like a split rail fence, and there's lots of white flowers.
We can't control everything, and you have to give yourself over to things which cannot be explained.
I've been thinking some real bad thoughts.
I think it's a profound thing, but I don't know if it's some external force. Am I gonna die?
And the gift is extraordinary and provocative and interesting, and I think shows and poses some great questions.
Messing with the devil's gonna get you burned.
Get him out of here!
Real danger begins if someone starts worrying that you're gonna have another one of your dreams.
I got a warning today. I think somebody's gonna try and kill me.
My granny told me that I had a gift. It runs in my family, and she told me that I shouldn't be afraid of it. I should just always use my instinct, and I'd be all right.
My wife read the screenplay by Billy Bob Thornton and Tom Epperson. She thought it was really a terrific suspense thriller with great characters. She recommended that I read it, and I did. And at first I was put off by a lot of the darkness of the thing, and I even put the screenplay down. But she encouraged me to continue with it, and so I did, and I saw the character, Cate Blanchett's character, Annie Wilson, made it through all these dark times and found a certain degree of redemption and peace. So it really made it a very powerful experience for me. And I thought, maybe this is something that I could have a hand in telling.
Well, I'd worked with Billy Bob Thornton on a film called Pushing Tin, and at the end of that, we'd really enjoyed working together, even though we hadn't had much screen time together. And he said that he'd been writing The Gift with Tom Epperson, and I should have a read of it. And I read it and loved it, and the next thing I knew, Sam was going to direct it, and then it was happening. And I didn't actually speak to Billy Bob until like the second last day of shooting.
I got a script through my agent and manager, and then I read it, loved it, and was keen to play the part. And then I went and met with Sam Raimi, and about 10 minutes into it, he said, did they tell you, what was going on here? And then I realized at that moment that I was auditioning. And I was very fine with that.
It's sort of the standard audition process of like getting the script and reading it and being interested in it, and then going in and meeting with Sam Raimi and just sort of really wanting to do it and knowing that Cate was involved in it, and then just going after it and really just trying to be committed to that process, and then which is a whole nother thing. As opposed to actually making the movie.
This is actually my first movie since Boys Don't Cry. I had yet to find something that really moved me and that I felt a strong pull to be a part of. And when I read the script, one, I really liked the story. I liked that it was a big ensemble piece, and I mean, our cast is so brilliant.
Have you had a health problem since I saw you last?
Ma'am?
Have you been sick?
Back's been hurting a little.
No, it's not your back. You bleeding somewhere? Sam and I spoke a lot about this, that we wanted Annie's psychic ability to be as normal as the skill that a doctor has, and that through the course of the film, she was drawn into darker and darker places by her gift and by the fact that she's not dealing with elements in her own grief, really, and her own life.
You're not that Wilson that's a fortune teller, are you?
I don't call myself that.
I'd love for you to read my fortune.
I'm pretty booked up.
You think we'll live happily ever after? What's the matter? You see something bad?
Of course not.
Young Cate Blanchett. Well, let me tell you. She's great. She's wonderful. We spent a lot of time on set reciting lines from Elizabeth. She's very funny and of course very smart. But the most amazing thing about her is just her talent is like kind of awesome to watch.
It's such a pleasure to be around someone who is so good at what she does, and to watch her approach to the material and the way that she works.
My daddy's a good man. I don't hate my dad.
Hon, you need to talk about your daddy.
Why don't you tell me why I hate him? You're the goddamn psychic. Huh? You're the goddamn psychic!
I'm in awe of Giovanni's passion. I think he's so incredible and so committed and so completely immersed in the world of whatever character he's playing.
Giovanni came in and he read the part and he just blew us away. He had such a great understanding of the character, had really done his homework, and did a beautiful textured performance for us. And I couldn't believe how good he was, considering he was only like 25 years old, or 24 at the time. Really was, it's almost like he's lived a few lifetimes and had these experiences and then can recreate them in his performances.
I think there's a certain thing that I have as far as looking at it and reading something and knowing that, whatever this character is going to be up to me and what I make of it, and the idea of letting my imagination try to go as far as possible into all aspects and constantly thinking about it.
You know what this is? It's a voodoo doll. I'm gonna use this voodoo doll on you. Some of your own medicine. If you don't stop seeing my wife, I'm sticking me a pin in this thing every night till you learn to leave folks alone.
Keanu plays Donnie Barksdale. What a terrible, terrible man he is.
He's damaged, and he doesn't, his boundaries are different, and they're not right. They're not right. But for me as an actor, they were fun to play.
First, you think of Keanu Reeves and you think, well, he could never play that part, Donnie Barksdale. But he did such a great rendition of the man because he really understood him.
And did you know something was going to happen to your husband?
In an ESP kind of way?
Well, I don't know
if they don't believe in it.
I don't know. I guess I just don't believe there are any great mysteries in life. Kind of figure what you see is what you get.
Greg is believable as a nice guy because he is a nice guy. He's a funny guy and he keeps the set laughing, and he's got a lot of warmth to him that he can tap into when his character has to, in a very short amount of time, earn the audience's sympathy, and the audience has to learn to like him, and he has that ability naturally so he can tap into it.
Wayne's a relatively simple person with simple needs, living in a great little small town, kind of keeps his ducks in a row, and has managed to land a wonderful fiancée played by Katie Holmes. They seem to have a fairly good relationship, although like most relationships, everything that they seem to have isn't necessarily what they have.
I went to the store yesterday because we was out of some things, and he had got home from work early before I could get back. He was waiting with a razor strap. My legs were all cut up, and I got welts the size of footballs on my back and my legs. I feel guilty you paying me money to tell you get away from him. You got to get help. Legal help. You don't know Donnie Barksdale, Annie?
Valerie Barksdale is a victim of spousal abuse. I can't speak for other people what they'll take from her. I feel sympathetic. At first I was thinking, why does she stay? And I had to ask myself that question and answer it before I could actually play her. And like I said, I think she stays because she doesn't know any different.
Working with Sam was one of the most fulfilling experiences I've had so far as an actor.
Sam, you know, and his ability to work with actors and let them have a trust for him and empower them to be able to feel like they can go to the ends of the universe, and he can, you know, whatever you give him, he's going to do something good with it.
He's so much funnier than I thought he was going to be. I mean, of course he's a great director, and he's established, and he is doing a fantastic job with this picture, but he is a funny guy.
He's so immersed in the material, but yet he has such an extraordinary sense of humour, and he can detach and then reattach, which is great. So he's able to have perspective and offer you sort of insight.
I really like the scene with the young boy, when I kind of bring him in and talk to him about how he should tell his mama not to see my wife anymore. And then the scene that consequently comes with Giovanni is fantastic.
The sequences with Cate.
A lot of people are incredibly sceptical, you know, of whether psychic powers are, you know, whether they exist or whether people are charlatans. And so we wanted it to be that even if you had no sort of sympathy for the concept of people having psychic abilities, that you would still buy that Annie Wilson had these powers.
I think that this movie really deals with the element of that sort of psychic phenomenon in an interesting way, in a very human way. It's not a big, oddly enough, aspect to the story. It's not what the story's about. The story's about people, but that element is kind of threaded nicely throughout it, and I think it'll make people ask some interesting questions, whether they believe or don't believe.
You're the soul of this town, Miss Wilson, and you just need to keep doing what you're doing.
But I think it's important for a writer, especially if there's going to be another director on the movie, to completely hand it over and allow for that, and allow for, you know, to make something better, because I think there's always room for improvement. And so yeah, there was that, and there was a freedom that was granted, I guess, with, you know, Sam Raimi and the other actors involved, and you know, everybody was really committed to it, so it allowed for that, because sometimes you can get in a situation where people just don't have no idea what they're doing, and then what you come up with is just, you know, dog shit, you know. But these we're working in good company and good actors and a good director who knows what he's doing.
Well, it was easy to balance those aspects because Billy Bob Thornton and Tom Epperson had written a very well-constructed, well-thought-out screenplay. So the narrative was so together, and I had such fine actors that it wasn't very difficult.
How much is the story about redemption, or about saving oneself, or looking for, searching for, what is it something?
Well, that's the underlying theme of the picture. Cate Blanchett's character is suffering the loss of her husband and feels a certain degree of guilt and responsibility for his death. And it's the story of how she works to raise these children in a small town that has a degree of prejudice against what she does, and it's all about how she learns to cope with it and how she struggles and finally succeeds, winning the favor of the good people in this town. And it's about how she finds a degree of redemption. So it is an element of the film.
I really enjoyed the part, Donnie Barksdale, and working with Sam Raimi. No, I just had to really figure out what my character was feeling and what he was thinking, and commit to that. You know?
Keanu, working with Cate Blanchett, how did you find that? How did you find her as an
No, she's fantastic. She's just a consummate actress and so talented, and I had a great experience acting with her. She's very gracious and is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I spent several weeks there before I began shooting, and hung out at the strip malls and stuff. But even if I was playing an Australian character, I wouldn't assume that they spoke with the same syntax and the same rhythm and the same cadence that I did. So it's just part of forming the character, really. I think she's someone who's really shut off from life, but I do think if you have the power of precognition, or if you're someone who trusts your instincts, it's an enormous responsibility, because you then, if you say those things to people, like your husband's cheating on you, or I think you've got cancer, then you're going to instill an enormous amount of fear and anxiety in someone, and that's an enormous burden to bear, I think.
I think that anytime you take on a role, with Boys Don't Cry it was a little different because it was a true story, this being more of a fictional story, although I think it is loosely based on Billy Bob Thornton's life. I think that this character may have been a fictional character. But you're playing someone who, Valerie is an abused wife, and I think anytime you're doing that, you really have to get into the psyche of an abused person. I don't condone abuse in any way, so I had to understand why she would let herself be abused like that, and you realize, I went to a lot of abuse counselors, that unfortunately to some people that's a form of love. They don't know any different, and so that they let that happen to themselves.